Hello and welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Kali Brigham calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. Well, we had an amazing career conference last weekend and it was so much fun getting to see lots of $1 Million Message listener sisters. So thank you to everybody who came over and came up and said hello. We got hugs and pictures. It was the best. It was an amazing weekend. And we had a fun way. Some of my consultants and I had a fun way of ending our weekend, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I believe truly that we are in an experiential culture and season. And what I mean by that is experiences seem to have a higher value for most people than things. And if you know me at all, you know I love to read and I love podcasts. One of my absolute favorite podcasts for business owners and entrepreneurs is called How I Built This. It's an NPR podcast, and the host interviews people that started their own business. Everything from the founders of Instagram to the chicken salad chick to JetBlue to Rent the Runway, you name it. Kendra Scott is even on there. And they're about 45 minutes to an hour, and they are fascinating. And he interviews them about their whole journey to where they are today. Well, the Rent the Runway founder, Jen, I believe is her name, was talking about how it started. And she was over at her sister's apartment, who's 25, and her sister had just bought a new dress. And Jen said, I knew that she could not afford this dress. And I was like, why did you not just wear one of the dresses you already have? And the sister said, well, everyone's already seen me in it. And what she meant by that was particularly on social media. So Jen started to think, her sister didn't want to buy this dress just to have a pretty dress. Her sister wanted to buy the dress because she projected out what it was going to feel like that night at that special event, how she was going to take lots of pictures with her friends and create memories, right? That's how Rent the Runway started. Well, I'm all about creating an experience, whether it's for my consultants, my customers, my family. I'd rather do things with them to create memories than have things. So I decided that the Star Consultants from Q3, we were going to go to an escape room on Saturday night. Now, I will say that the majority of us, like almost all of us, I think there were 14 of us, had never done an escape room before. Maybe just a couple people had. So right before it was time to go, I started to think, oh, goodness, I hope this goes well. I hope nobody gets in a fight, and I hope that, it's not a bad experience. And I also thought, wow, after such a busy weekend, I wonder if it was smart to actually have to use our brains on Saturday night, right? Well, anyways, we went, split into two groups, and the escape room experience began. And I'm going to tell you today some of my takeaways from it. So first of all, it brought me back to what I've been thinking of recently of what it's like to be new. Oh, my goodness. Again, in our group, two girls had done the escape room before, obviously not the one that we had done, this particular one, but they had done one before. But the rest of us were new. And there's like that whole feeling of stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? There's the butterflies of excitement. There's like the nervousness of, I don't know if I can do this. And so it was just a good reminder that sometimes we need to remember what it's like to be new, especially as we're building our team and growing our team. So, and by the way, for those of you that are unfamiliar, you go to this building that has literally a bunch of different rooms, and they're different scenarios. Ours was museum heist, and we were former art thieves, and we were hired to go back in and re-steal the Mona Lisa that had been stolen. The other group went on theirs was an island experience and adventure, and a volcano was about to erupt, and they had been stranded on the island, and they had to get off. And so you're running through a bunch of different clues in order to unlock different combination locks and have keys that unlock locks that give you more clues. And you're in this room and you have 1 hour. And ultimately you have to solve all of these puzzles of things that are in the room, and then at the very end you find the combination that allows you to get out of the door and get out of the room. Escape, in other words. You have a game master who's watching via video, and that game master can hear you and you can hear her or him. And at any point in the game, if you have questions, you can ask them, you can ask for clues. It just has to be unanimous. And they can give you as many clues as you want, but I'll get to that in a minute. So you do have someone who's coaching you and mentoring you should you need her. Okay, but back to my lessons from it. It was definitely fun to remember what it was like to be new. The next part was I noticed that those of us that were first-timers relied a little bit on those that had done it before. Again, we said, okay, even though you haven't done the museum heist before, give us some tips. What is this going to look like and feel like? And we looked to them for leadership. And so, it was the path of, you've been on this path before. Show me what to do. Tell me what to do. The next part was each of us either worked in our own strengths or at least we didn't compare. We spread out once we got into the room, all of us on our own, looking for clues, searching for things, trying different things too. And it wasn't like if somebody figured out a puzzle, we thought, oh, she's so much better at puzzles than I am. Or no, it was just each one of us doing our best in the specific area that we were. And speaking of that too, as we were solving these puzzles and working on them, we were not only encouraging and helping each other, but if we failed at something, it wasn't a big deal. We just tried something else. So there is no, in any way, judgment for failure. We probably failed way more times than we succeeded at solving the clues and the puzzles and opening up the locks. Okay, the next part is I mentioned the game master that was watching us. And at any point, you could get as many clues as you want to. There was no, no maximum number of clues to ask for. But what I noticed is it was much more fun not to ask for the clues. It was so much more rewarding when we figured it out on our own. And you would think that you'd go in there and you'd say, oh, give us another clue. Hannah, give us another clue. Because we had the ability of making it easier. But there was something so much more exciting, gratifying of knowing that we had figured it out on our own. Empowering, if you will. The next part was we did best because there was a deadline and a sense of urgency. The minute the game starts, there's an hour clock and it literally ticks down. And every so often, you hear a voice saying, you have 45 minutes left. And if we had had all day to do it, maybe we would have stopped and visited a little bit or chatted or whatever. But we did our best. We rose to the occasion because there was a finish line with a deadline and the clock ticking. So that was part of what made it exhilarating. The next one was, here we go. We did escape. We escaped about 45 minutes into it. We have 15 minutes left. And as we did it, and as we burst through that door, screaming and yelling and so excited, it was way more fun winning as a team. And, had I been in there by myself, first of all, there's no way I would have finished it, which is another lesson too. But there was something so exciting about the success of the team. We did it. Not even any one of us would have said, I did it. We did it. And because of that, it felt great to contribute to the team win. It felt great to contribute to the team win. And then lastly, but I think most importantly, as we all stood around, by the way, the second team escaped too about 5 minutes later, and we were so excited for them, but also secretly excited that we were first. But we all stood around for, over an hour talking about our experience when we were done. And we were on such an endorphin high, and here's why. From the very first clue that we figured out, and then the very first lock we unlocked, Each time we did it, that win, it got addictive. And something physical and physiological happened. Each time we did that, the adrenaline rush started, the endorphins came out, and guess what we wanted to do? Another win. And let me tell you, they were small. The first wins, we were so far away from getting to escape, but it gave us the confidence and the drive for another win. And they were small, but they led up to something big. Okay, so those are all of the things I learned. How do we relate that to Mary Kay? Well, as I mentioned, be gentle on yourself if you're new and if you have someone that's new, because they just don't know what they don't know. And remember, they've got all kinds of emotions. But also do the same for yourself if you're trying something new, a new booking script, new warm chatter. Just understand that that is normal. The next is rely on those that have done it before. Your recruiter, your sales director, lean on them, trust them, listen to them, ask advice from them. And then don't compare yourself to other people. Just put your head down right where you are, and if you fail at it, you know what? That is absolutely the recipe for success. Lots of failures lead to success. The next is be empowered. Don't always ask for help when it's something you can figure out yourself. Are you resourceful? Do you look first on InTouch, or do you search a Facebook group for the answer? Do you Google it first if you're looking for an image, or do you just go straight and ask for help when you could figure it out yourself? And then set a deadline. Have some urgency. Play a game with yourself. That's why I always said 5 by 5 on Friday. 5 bookings for the next week by 5 p.m. on Friday was always that urgent goal. And then find a way to win as a team. Find out what your immediate team is working on, what your unit is working on, what your national area is working on. And that team win is awesome. And know that you're contributing to it, whether it was big or small. And then finally, little wins. Make yourself addicted to the win. Find little things that can cause you to celebrate and feel amazing and move on to the next win. Don't try to make them so big that you already just get defeated. Instead, start small, and before long, you'll see the big wins come too. All right, ladies, make it a good day. Talk to you next week.